Well, we're good to go right now. You are joining us from different parts of the world. Thank you so much. This time that you've chosen as, you've heard of self-love and self-expression and self-acceptance. This is a self-gift because you chose to make sure that you joined us at this time. So welcome from different parts of the globe. We are inviting you to get ready to just enjoy this time and space with us. And while we send out this invitation to you, we're asking you, how are you feeling right now? Because this is webinar 3 of FEEL, the Festival for Empowerment and Art for Life, brought to you by British Council in association with Kolkata Shambhed. And you met all our panelists in webinar 1. Webinar 2 had dance movement therapy. That was a journey that we moved into that was guided by Dr. Shoini Chakrabarti and Tilotma Chaudhary. And now it's time for us to move into a space of visual art. FEEL, one of the most important takeaways is how daily creative practice can really help each one of us during this time of the pandemic, during this time of being locked up at home, during this time of maybe feeling like you're alone. But it's time now for us to find daily wellness practices and add this to our well-being kit, right? So if your FEEL well-being kit is ready, your book, your pen, and for today's session, a glass with a long stem and some water in it, or at the side, we can pour it in later. But if you are ready right now, thank you for joining us. And let's get into our opening ritual. Are you ready? So shake your hands out a bit, rub your hands together, and bring all of you into this space. So I'm here now. I'm here now. All of me is right here now. One more time. I'm here now. I'm here now. All of me is right here now. And as you're joining us, and all of you is joining us, I want to ask you, are you here with all your 5 senses alive and awake? And if not, this entire session is going to take us into awakening all those senses. So, quick question. If you're looking around, what's the first thing you see around you? Go ahead and type it in the chat. And while you're typing that, I'm going to ask you one more question. One more sense. If you could close your eyes for just a few seconds and listen, what is the first sound that you hear? Well, we'll keep asking you these questions and waking up different senses as we move into this session, the session on visual art. And today, I'm really looking forward to getting immersed. And it's going to be a really interesting session with lots of takeaway. So right now, without further ado, I'm going to invite somebody who is a visual artist and an educator whose mediums include photography, stop motion, and 3D installation. She teaches at the University of Liverpool and is also a Tate Exchange Associate. Well, you have to join me. Believe this is our virtual stage, but it's a stage nonetheless. So we're going to put our hands together. Put your hands together and welcome Ruth Dillon, who joins us all the way from England. Ruth, welcome.
Thank you, Keisha. It's really nice to be here. I'm hoping that today everybody who's here gets to explore some kind of practice that they can use to enrich their day-to-day life, especially now as it's quite a challenging time. But we're going to explore some visual art. We're going to create a gratitude journal, which we can revisit day by day. I kind of guess the emphasis is on connection today, Keisha.
That's
Connection
right.
and creating circles.
So we're feeling that already. So you know, I love the fact that if you could visualize your arm going around one side and the other side and going around the globe, then we're encompassing everybody and we're actually reaching out. Ruth, I can actually sensorially, yes, yes, isn't that beautiful? So everybody, wherever you are, reach out and let's make this continuous circle that Ruth is talking about. And welcome into this space. So Ruth, I know that you're going to be bringing a lot of senses into this space and lots of color into this space. So because you are a visual art therapy practitioner, can I call out some colors? And I've got this ball that's a color ball, and we'll see how many colors come alive to us, the feelings that we're feeling right now. And we associate them with colors. And if we can call out the color, not the feeling, the color, and let's see where we're at. So I'm going to call out lavender. Catch.
Magenta.
A lemon green. Catch.
Wow. Olive. An olive green.
Wow. I'm seeing a light blue. Catch.
Then sienna.
I'm holding on to the ball right now, and this is the last time I'm gonna throw it at you, and I'm seeing a lemon yellow. Catch.
And I have a cyan, a blue.
Wow. And I'm holding on to this color ball, and there are so many colors with feelings attached to them, or feelings with colors attached to them. So everybody at home, I'm throwing the ball at you. Are you ready to catch? And catch and call out the color. Catch it, call out the color, and write it in the chat so we know that you are here. And we can see Pooja, who says red is the color that's alive for her, and Prem says pink, Ashta says blue, and Garima says light blue. Wow, all right, the colors are coming alive. So Ruth, I think we are ready to move into that I love the phrase you use, the checking in, the checking.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we always check in with ourselves, because we're so busy, and often, you know, we may have responsibilities at home. We may be parents. We may need to look after our parents, so we're always looking after other people. So it's good to check in with ourselves. So for our check-in, we're going to embrace that idea of colour, whatever colour you choose, and try and breathe it in. And when you breathe it in, kind of visualise it coming into your being. You breathe in through the tip of your nose, feel the breath, the air on your nose, and then whatever colour that is, breathe it right into the back of your head, down through your shoulders, and allow it to rest in your stomach, whatever that colour is, and breathe out. And we're going to breathe that colour in and feel it invigorate every part of your body, from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers and your little toes too. And we're going to keep that in mind. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take our piece of paper, and I'll show you. So we did say to get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. So for this, I'm going to use a pencil. And if we're working with the concept of connection and a circle, we're going to use a simple circle, a simple shape. So the first thing we're going to do, feeling invigorated, we're going to draw a circle. It can be anywhere, any size. And once we've drawn the circle, I want you to think of someone who is important to you, someone who brings joy to your life. Bring that energy and that color to the space too. And then I want you to draw another circle. But with this circle, we're going to go a little larger. So this circle could represent someone in your life again who's massively important to you. Maybe someone I would call a champion. So in my life, I have some people who help me face any issues I have. My friends, they support me, they listen to me, and they love and accept me. So next, we're going to draw another circle. I tend to find with the smaller circles, they often represent for me members of my family, the children, the small people, the ones that always make me laugh. And again, another circle. So as we're drawing our circles, we're really thinking of people who champion us, who support us, who are there for us. So this, as Keisha said, will be a well-being card. And we'll continue. And it's important to note that throughout today, I encourage you to join our drawing circle and to doodle and draw. The only aim with this is to express yourself. You have the right to freedom of expression. And I just want you to play with the paper. So now I'm going to take a moment and I'm just going to look at the paper, and the paper is going to embody my circle, the people who are important to me, and I'll name them. And some of the people are no longer here. So there's my mum. There's Sally, my friend. There's my son, Ethan. There's my cousin, Maria. There's my friend, Michael. Another friend, Kiki. Another friend, Julie. And here's my dad. So I look at this paper, and it's a well-being card, but it's also a representation of the people who are important in my life. So you may want to go one step further. And thinking of those colors, maybe you want to add some design, some pattern, some very, very simple design. And as the session goes on, you can continue. And if you have any colors or felt tips, you may want to use them and just simply, oh gosh, that's super stiff. You may want to color some in. Oh, that's stiff as well. Gosh, there we go. So you may want to color them in. But yeah, you just breathe in your color and think of those people and think of the reasons why they make you smile and why they give you joy. Yeah. And as the sessions continue, remember to breathe in, drink lots of water, and create your little well-being card. Now later on in the session, or quite soon actually, we're going to shift our focus to what I would call a gratitude journal. How are you feeling, Keisha? I think you need to unmute yourself. It's okay.
Yes, but thank you so much, Ruth. You know, I don't know if you can see this, but lemon yellow is the color that the felt tip pen that came up to me first. And I said, okay, so that's it. And I'm feeling light, but I'm feeling joyful. So it's enjoying this feeling. But everybody at home, how are you feeling right now as you keep creating your well-being card? Shohini says that she's feeling calm. Thank you so much. How are you feeling as you keep drawing your well-being card? Feeling grateful and connected, says Shohini. Reshma says focused. Let's take a couple more and keep. Gayatri says bringing in focus and alert. Mansi says connected.
Well, through this simple act, it will empower you to revisit it any time. And there'll be an association with the movement, the flow, the peacefulness, the mindful action, and also the gratitude.
Yeah, and Jinal said calm, and it's very interesting. Vipasha says at peace. Thank you so much. Keep sharing your feelings because you are sharing it with us. But the beautiful thing is you're also taking time to share it with yourself, something that we don't really do.
And that's something we can revisit at any time. And I was working with this practice a few days ago. So I decided to transpose the practice because what I want you to really understand was when I was growing up and I was, at home, my parents weren't artists, so there weren't many artistic materials. I think we had one of those little paint boxes, that your mum buys you, really poor quality of pigment. It runs very bad on the paper, but, it was colour. So, I kind of started working with colours that I would find around the house. So if you don't have the resources, all girls have makeup. You can play with your makeup. You can mix it with a bit of oil. So I would use things like tea bags, coffee. I would use spices. Turmeric's quite good, although it does stain. Turmeric, it really stains. Cayenne pepper. I would use all of these. But I was working on this idea the other day, so I transposed the idea of the important people. So based on this concept, it's a simple concept, and you can expand it in many ways. I transposed the concept to this canvas. So I took the people that were important in my life, and as it happens, I didn't have masses of color. So I had about 3 tones. So I had a really vibrant pink, a neon pink. I had a violet, and I had a very, very pale magenta, which is just over there. So all I used, and it took me about half an hour to do, I used for the circles, I used sellotape. So I put it on the canvas and I used some masking tape and then I spray painted. But you can use those concepts in any way. I love to use things that I find around the house, especially things like, sellotape's great. It's just brilliant because I love the idea of a circle. Potatoes I use, cards I use, anything. So yeah, I'd like to share with you now, if I may, gratitude journal. So before we move on, I'd just like us all to do a little check-in about what we're grateful for today. Now, every night before I go to bed, I do a kind of inventory and a gratitude list. And it seems I'm grateful for everything, even when it's a bad day. Because even if I'm having a bad day and I feel frustrated, intolerant, it does suggest that I have feelings. So I'm grateful I've got feelings, whether they're good or bad, because some people aren't as privileged as us. So I just really like some response from our attendees, our viewers. What are they grateful for today? So I'll start it off. Today, I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to share some of my art practice and some ideas with you. I am really grateful. So Keisha, what are you grateful for today?
I'm incredibly grateful for this time of well-being that I'm sharing with you. And I'm grateful that I'm above 18 because this entire session, the webinars over these 6 days has been designed for people who are above 18. And we request everybody who is below that age to make sure that there is an adult supervising you right now, just for your own well-being. But I'm honestly, truly grateful for this time of immersion because just being present is making me feel good.
Mm-hmm. And have we got any responses from our attendees? I see Gayatri. I'm grateful for this session with you guys. Yeah, we're grateful too.
Yes, and Reshma adds in as well. I'm grateful to be alive and present.
Yeah, learning something new. I'm grateful that I'm in good health. These are all great. You know, it is important just to acknowledge, because I think we're either in two places. We're either I don't have, I need, that kind of space of I haven't got enough. But even if you think you haven't got enough, if you take a moment to reflect on what you do have, we often find that we've got it more than enough. I have everything I need. I don't necessarily have everything I want. And sometimes the things I want aren't necessarily good for me. So I'm grateful our family is safe and we're all together. From Bharati, excellent. This is lovely. So today is about creating the circle, creating our circle, and extending this circle as well. So now I'm going to share with you how to make a gratitude journal. And before I show you physically, is that okay? Before I show you physically,
Yeah.
I'm going to share a little PowerPoint that I made for you. It will, sometimes I find visual prompts are really useful. So I hope that you'll bear with me while I just share you some ideas that you can explore and play with today.
Can't wait for this.
Okay. So here we are. Oh, that's someone's grateful. Could you just mute yourself for a minute? Thank you. It's okay. Not to worry. We're grateful that someone, you know, you're in demand, and we're grateful to have your presence here today, Keisha, so don't worry about that.
And we're grateful for your understanding.
No, it's absolutely fine. This is life. This is what we're dealing with on a day. How are we going to, you know, we can either go to two places. We can go to a place of stress and panic, or we can say it's okay. And that's what we have to do. We have to say it's okay. We're going to manage things. Not why. Let's how. How can we manage things? So what's a gratitude journal? For those who don't know, it's just a place, a space that you can keep note and keep ideas and memories of things that make you happy, things that are important to you. It's a place that you can appreciate the happy moments, the positive things, the goodness that's in your life. And sometimes we don't even acknowledge these things. We really don't. So we can go through life without taking that moment. And we're kind of wired, in our brains are wired to look for patterns, and we often look for the negative patterns. So to counterbalance that, we really need to look for the positive patterns, and we need to create the positive patterns. So the gratitude journal is a kind of space that once you think you can, it's a space where you can leave things, but it's also a scientific fact that when you think about something really positive, you do experience a really good emotion as a result. So materials, pencil, paper, we've got that. And if you can have cardboard, scissors, glue, felt tips, this will be a resource. So it's a takeaway that you will have, and it will go into the chat box at the end. So don't worry too much about it. If you've got the pencil and paper, that's enough for now. You can embellish and fill as you go, because this isn't a task. This is an ongoing task that you continue with. So it's not something you want to finish within an hour. So here's one idea. Now, we were making a little card before, and it was a bit of a, how can I say, it was a bit of a toss-up between this card and the other one, but we want to create that space of connection. So as you can see, I am grateful for. I'm going to show you how to do this particular one with the tools that you have, with a pencil, a paper, and your glass. It's very simple, really. So maybe I'll just pause, and I'll do that in a moment. We'll continue and give you some more ideas. So in your gratitude journal, some of the things you want to put in is things I love about my life. And what do you love about your life, Keisha?
things falling into place.
But yeah, you know, the biggest thing I love laughter, and I really like chocolate. And when I do my sessions with kids, as an adult, I can eat as much chocolate as I like, and I can surround myself with laughter and joy. So they think it's some of the things I love about my life. Freedom, the
And
right of it.
sleep and sleep.
Oh gosh, a woman after my own heart. I love sleep.
And music. And music.
Oh gosh, music for sure, for sure. And food, so good. Simple food. But here's some things we did yesterday. So this was from a session I did yesterday with some young people, and we were creating our own gratitude journals. Some of the questions in your journal, you could just colour it in with felt tips, you could put your hand. But what are you grateful for today? So these were my responses. I have a circle of good friends. I get to share art and ideas. I have people who I trust, which is really important to me. I have friends who help me. My son, I'm super grateful for him. He really makes me laugh. He laughs at me. He really laughs at me, but it's okay. And I have friends who understand my feelings. As I said, being able to eat as much chocolate as I like, listening to music and dance. Here's another journal. As you can see, some of this is collage. So there's lots of different things you can do. So today we are going to start you off on your journal. I'm going to show you how, but then you can go away and you can use any materials. You can use newspaper. You can use magazines. I've had some deliveries from Amazon, so I'll probably use cards as well because I think they really look nice. So things you're grateful for. These are ideas for the front of your gratitude journal. These are very simple ideas. Again, we have a circle with petals, and in each petal you can write the things that you're grateful for. Hands. Now my kids love this one because as you do it, it makes the shape of a heart. That's what they all say. They say it's a heart. I love it. But you know, here we have like to play with toys, like to tie my shoes. You can be free with this. So some more prompts. I'll always give prompts because sometimes it's hard and you really need to search for what gives you joy. So what made you feel loved today? What is something that you found beautiful today? Do we have any responses, Keisha?
Wow, all right. So I'm grateful to be with my family and present here. Poonam says, I'm grateful that I got the day off today and could attend this. So I'm sure that the love is pouring in because you're sharing so much of gratitude in the world. And also for being around wonderful and inspirational people in my life.
Yeah, well, this is what we need, especially now, especially in the wake of a pandemic. You know, there's so many challenges. Some people can't go to work. Some people have lost their jobs. So that's why more than ever now to connect, to find new ways to connect is really vital. And when I say connect, I don't just mean connect with other people. I mean to connect with yourself. The concept of checking in with yourself, especially when you're having a really busy day. It's really important to take time out. Now, when I do this activity with children or adults, I tell them to create their journal, but also to revisit their journal maybe weekly. No, you know, you can visit daily, but some people have a busy life. But it's really nice to set aside a time for yourself where you can just enjoy and revisit. Here's another example. And this again is a collage and a montage. There's some sketches, some you know, cutouts, different textures. And these are the pages you can add to your journal. You know, you can have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can pop in things that you're grateful for, the music you enjoy, a special memory, the people you care about, things important about your family. There's lots of things you can write. I like this one. Very simple, but very effective. Spring, summer, fall, seasons. places you enjoy visiting. Now, obviously right now we can't really go everywhere, but we can still visit in remotely in some respects. Some of the galleries and places around the world have got virtual tours, which is amazing. So what I do want to say is your ideas matter, and so do you. You do have the right to freedom of expression. And I love this one, which kind of says, you know, you matter, grow, embrace your best self, balance, listen. This is a lovely example. So now it's time to we'll begin to create your journal. Remember, you're pretty awesome if you made it here today. Remember to smile when you do this. It's not a competition. You know, don't go for perfection. We're going for fun and well-being. And a couple of things I want to ask you to do today. I want you to be kind to someone. Just try and be kind to, it could be a random stranger. They don't need to know. Try and help someone who may need the help today. Because the truth of the matter is, when we're selfless and we're helping others, it actually helps ourselves. And I'd say maybe eat some chocolate, have a little fun.
Lovely. But Ruth, if I may, we've got lots of comments on the Facebook page as well. So we've got Swastika says she's grateful for music. There's Rajeshri who joins you in your love for chocolate.
Hey.
And Madeline says she's grateful to be in Kolkata. And we've got Rekha and Valerie who've mentioned as well. So thank you. Please keep sharing your comments right now. What are you grateful for? Thanks, Ruth.
That's okay. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to move on to a bit of an experiential, and I'll invite you to join me, but I'm just going to give you some ideas, some very simple ideas. So I'm going to move this down. And so here I have some simple things. I have some string, some stickies, some paper, a punch holder, some card, and a blade. I like to use a blade, but I have craft knives as well. So what I've done is I've taken some A4 and I folded it, and then I cut it with my blade. So there, I've got two pieces. I'm going to pop them here. I'm going to take a piece of A4. I'm going to fold it. Again, I'm going to cut this with my blade, but you don't have to. And if you don't have any A4 paper, you can use newspaper. So here we go. I'm just going to push. I like to stand up when I'm doing this. It's a bit more fiddly sitting down. I like to do all my artwork standing up, but that's just me. And then, okay, so there we go. So now I have, it's just as easy to fold it as well. Now I have more. Now we can do that with lots of paper. So if I take photocopier paper as well, I can just go very quickly. As I say, it doesn't have to be perfection. And then we have the same. So I'll just take this and I kind of put it in between my bits of paper. Ooh. Okay, I'll just take that off. And then I would get my punch holder. Now, if you don't have a punch holder, the simple thing to use is a pencil. And you can use, you just put the pencil right the way through. You can use blue tack underneath. You can use a potato underneath. You just get a sharp pencil and you go right through. I use a punch holder because I've got one, but you don't have to. So I'll just pop it in. Let's see. Sometimes this is just a domestic one, so it's not that strong. Just pop that right in there. And then right in. And again, make sure it's all the way back. So now I've got the holes. Then I just pop those together, and as you can see. Now I'm just doing it very randomly and quite quickly. I'm not going to take lots of time. I've got some cord. You can use ribbon. You can use string. This is kind of silvery. It's from a Christmas decoration. So I keep lots of things. You know when things come in the post? I keep them. I'm not a hoarder, but I do keep a lot of things. So then I'm just going to tie a simple knot there. And a simple knot. Well, I would tie a knot and that would be my book, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this next. So you get an idea. Now, working with circles, what I also did before is working with the concept of the circle. I found some leaves. So the leaves are outside the house, they're nice and bright. You could literally just pop a leaf on the front of your gratitude journal. Literally pop a leaf on the front, which looks quite beautiful. You know, I have these stickies, but sometimes if I don't have stickies, I'll use a pin. So when I have a stamen, and it will dry. Now, I would say the flesh of the leaf will deteriorate over time, but the actual stamen and the seams don't deteriorate. So it will actually last, it will dry with the paper, and they're quite beautiful. I do have some floating around somewhere, ready dried, which I'll show you later, but you could do that. That's one idea. And then I'm just going to show you. I cut some circles out before. So all I did, same principle. I just got some card with a craft knife, cut a circle out. Another card with a craft knife, cut a circle out, and here are my circles. Card, but you can use card from a delivery. And then I think this is really nice. It's nice to play with the colors, nice to play with the designs, just opposing, but it makes a nice piece of artwork in and of itself. Or, you know, if you want to again, you could use the circles. Whatever you want. It's really a simple way of playing with shape. And as we're creating a drawing circle, I thought it might be nice to do so. So we're going to come back to this. So what I'm going to do now is pop these to one side. But I do hope I've given you a few ideas. And now we're going to have a little bit more fun. So let me see. I'll take this. Put that down there. So some of the ideas we were working with before, we were working with I am grateful for. So remember I said I love sellotape. When I say I love sellotape, I really do. I use it for everything. So let's see if I can. I get my pen. Now, this I call a gratitude rainbow. After the rain, there's always a rainbow. So it's just to remind us that even with any challenges we face, there's always going to be a bright side. There's going to be a rainbow afterwards. So we can just draw. Semicircle. I take a little tiny piece in the center. Then I will take a ruler. You don't have to use a ruler. Most of the time I use what's to hand. So if you've got a book, I've grown up with books around me all the time. So, you know, you can use a book, the spine of a book. But I'll take that dot in the center of the circle, and then I'll just draw a line. Then again, I'll draw another line in the center. This is to get my lines to be equidistant. That is to say, I like my lines to kind of look in the right place, but it really doesn't matter because there's still a beauty to when they're not in the right place. And remember we spoke about colors before. So think about your color, and that will be, maybe that will be the main part of your rainbow. the epicenter of your rainbow. So right here, right now, I'm hoping you're doodling. You can be following what I'm doing, but you can also be gathering things. You know, if there's a tree outside your house, you can go outside, you can find some leaves. You know, this is very much an experiential, but it's a circle. So I would really hope that even if you don't have the means to draw or sketch, that you're breathing in color, that you're imbibing and enjoying your own breath and this experience together today. So there I have what I showed you before. You know, in this you can write, I am grateful for. You don't have to. Keisha, have you been sketching with us?
I have, and I have my sunshine rays that are going to get different colors. I can't wait.
Great. Now you don't have to do that now, but what I would say is just take a minute or two to just think about what you would put, what you'd be grateful for in each of these. And what I would do, and exactly, someone said they're using their water bottle instead of sellotape. It's good, it's quick, and I'm able to make something and express. And she made the rainbow, so well done, well done. So if some people give me what they're grateful for today, I'm going to make a collective rainbow. So I'll write things in, because I'm a conceptual artist and I'm a process-based artist, so I work with concepts. So the concept around this is very much a circle. It's to create a circle. So every person who has attended today, now you're part of my circle. You really are part of my circle. And maybe we won't meet physically, but emotionally, I know that we've all made it here today because we want to support each other. So if anyone wants to tell me what they're grateful for, family, great, okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use something called a calligram. So a calligram is when we write a word, but we repeat it to make a pattern. So, you know, maybe I would draw, I'll try it, but maybe I would draw a little boy and a mum, but using the words family. But I'm just going to use it in one. So I'm going to use it as pattern. I'm going to repeat the pattern in one.
We even have the rains. So Kavita said family, Lata said the rain, love and protection says Savitri.
Excellent. Because protection's vital, isn't it? You know, and sometimes we need protection from ourselves. You've got to hide the chocolate from me, Keisha.
I don't know if it's going to be there if I'm hiding it.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish it up. But Bharati says expression through art.
Absolutely. And in the UN Convention for the Rights of Children, every child has the right to freedom of expression. But sometimes we're struggling, aren't we? Yeah, a safe space to share feelings. And I'm absolutely thrilled that someone has said that, because that's what the gratitude journal is. This is your safe space. This is your refuge, nature. It is definitely your refuge. It is a place to authenticate what you need to say. Because in many respects, we're challenged, aren't we? We're challenged on a day-to-day basis. I mean, right now we've got Black Lives Matter movement. There's lots going on in the world. You know, people come together. Art can be a means for people to come together collectively and change things, change the world. So I'm going to return to that.
Yeah, and create connection and create the connection.
So I'm just going to put connection.
And friends.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you, Jinal. Bipasha says, for my loving parents.
Great. Yeah. And nature. What can I draw to represent nature? What should we say?
Could you stick one of those gorgeous leaves that you have?
I could. We could make it a bit of a collage. I can put that here just as a colour. That's great. And what else have we got? Birth, nature, flowers. So, okay, I love flowers. And I'm just going to do really simple. We're not trying to be Van Gogh here. We're just trying to acknowledge the things in our life that make us so happy and give us a bit of joy. I mean, I love flowers.
And a safe space to share feelings.
Absolutely. I think that's key, isn't it? It's vital.
Yeah.
It's vital.
Lovely. I love how you've left one of the rays blank to just be that safe space too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just, you could draw in one. I've given you an idea. What you could do is you could draw in one, you could write in another. You could draw in one, write in another. There's many, many ways. So I've got some colours here, if I can get the lids off. And then once I've drawn, maybe I'm just going to go over them with colour. Or maybe I want to do the colour first. The ink's not completely dry, but that's okay. So maybe, some of the colours that you chose before, wonderful. So I'm just going to colour some of them in. You don't have to colour everything in. It just adds a pop. And sometimes it's nice to use monochrome, so just black and white, or you might want to use coloured card to start off with. So the next part of this, that is one way you could have the front page for your journal. Or another way I'm going to show you is, let me just move some of these. So we have that. I'm just going to pop that to the side. I'm going to pop my trusty sellotape over here. Don't leave home without it. Literally, got loads in the car. And I'm going to take again piece of card, piece of paper. Okay. And before I use those, I just got some paint. So I mixed up some paint. If you've got paint, great. If you haven't, it's still okay. But you can use any paint. Sometimes you can use printer's paint. I like to use household paint, but this is acrylic paint. You could use gouache. If you can't get, I was going to use some PVA glue with some of the pigment from the Holly Fest, because I've got some pigments here, but I didn't in the end. But anyway, so I've got a little stick here, and I'm going to mix. I'm just going to use a red and a white to give it a pinky texture, because I think that'll work quite well with the brown. Going to mix some green. Now, obviously you don't have paint right now, but I'm just giving you ideas. But remember, you could be colouring in your rainbow. You could be putting your hand on a piece of paper and making your hand a rainbow. And talking of rainbows, yeah, I would just like to talk about, it's been last month, it was Gay Pride. So I guess I would, oh gosh, where's my other one? Let me see. Here it is. Yeah. So the rainbow is also used internationally as a representation of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, intersexual, and asexual. And I guess that I just want to use that movement as an example of creativity. Because many years ago in 1969, a woman called Brenda Higgins was at a bar in New York, and the bar was raided. and the people who were drinking there were all arrested. They were arrested because they were gay. At that point in New York City, gays and lesbians were discriminated against. It was illegal to give licenses to any bars that allowed gay people in, which is just awful. There were political and religious motivations. But that meant that people, I mean, your sexuality is a private thing, but people who were different than we're all different anyway, but some people were made to feel shame because of who they were, which was awful. So a person called Brenda Higgins decided to begin a protest, and a peaceful protest. And so she marched through the city with all of her friends, and they created the rainbow. And that's why I'm referencing the rainbow today as well. I just thought, you know, it's a good thing to reference. But they created the rainbow. And as a result of Brenda Higgins, we have these wonderful festivals where we walk in unity for our brothers and sisters to say whatever sexuality you are, it's okay, we don't discriminate. You know, and the Black Lives Matter movement at the moment, people are being discriminated against. So I always find art is a great vehicle, personally, and in terms of society. So I digress. So what I did before was I got some potato. I cut my potato in half. I left that one half, that blank half, and I just got my crafty, I didn't use my sellotape, but I used my craft knife. Yeah, so that's all I did. And then I also decided to get a bit of polystyrene and stick some things on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the potato. It's nothing fancy. And just do a few repetition, little repetition. And maybe I'm going to do this way at the bottom. Very simple potato. And then I'm going to use the green. Now if you do have paint, that's great. If you don't, you can always just use felt tips. Use whatever you have. So next I'm going to, same potato. I'm just going to go, because I'm trying to
even watching you is so immersive, Ruth. I can't imagine actually doing this. It's going to be phenomenal.
It's fun. It's very calming. It really is. It helps you just chill out and calm down. But I mean, I'm working with the concept of circles. So the concept embedded in this practice is connection. And whatever you choose to do will be embedded in the practice as well. Now I'm going to try this. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to go for it anyway, because it's not perfection we're after. Yeah, it's working. So it's a simple piece. It's color and it's print. So we've done it in white. You know, you don't have to use this. You can use anything you want. I'll just do it again and see what it's like in white. But this is for your gratitude journal. So if you have started with your gratitude journal, you know, as I said before, you can watch me, that's fine, to get ideas. But, you know, this is a drawing circle. So just create, you know, whether that's you do endless circles and you join them together, it's okay. You can do whatever you choose to. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. And then I think I'll mix it up a little bit. I think I'll go with yellow, Keisha's yellow. I'm just going to mix it up, and it might come a bit green, but that's okay. I'm going to pick it up and it's okay. And then, yeah, splodgy, abstracted. That's cool. That's it. And I'm going to leave it, and maybe I would, you know, embellish and put something in there. But again, then I'd come back and I would then put my paper inside. And that would be the front of my journal. And on the first page, I just write things I love. You know, and I could take, as I say, there'll be a resource, a PDF resource. But I think just there, I'm going to come back to life. They
Welcome back.
come back to life. The notion of the circle is about us. It's about our connection. So these, when I look at these, and I will probably recycle these and make them into cards. You know, I will strip them off and I will mount them and I will give them, because people buy things from shops, but I really like the sentiment and the energy and the time. Yeah.
And what's incredibly beautiful is that you've made it personal, right? And you're encouraging all of us, as in, I'm going to make it personal. So if there are buttons, or right now we've got a lot of festivals coming around, and you know, we've got these little gold strings and beautiful little things that we can hold on to and embellish the cover and make it our own and be grateful for the time. So imagine every time I'm looking at that gold string, I'll remember that moment and that memory as well.
It is. I mean, I think, you know, just referring back to experiencing ourselves and finding our own truth through art. As was said before, this is a really safe space to explore, you know, your own feelings. It allows for a kind of a level of transcendence and transformation. You can address personal issues, societal issues in a way that can acknowledge, honor, and heal. And I think, you know, I've discussed this before, that sometimes words, they just don't work for me. I like color, and I love to work, you know, for me, today is a bit different because I'm working on a very small scale, but I like to work big. You know, I love color and I love vibrancy. I love nature, but it's, you know, my practice as such is, you know, I generally work with about 20 or 30 people, and we make big pieces. We make big pieces of art. You know, we try and work together. It's a communal experience. It isn't about creating a professional piece of art. It's about connection. It's always about connection. And we try and get political. So there was a piece we did earlier this year, and it was kind of it was a piece of invisible theatre. So we created some cards and some questions, and the questions were the same, but when you played this game, you had to choose to be a policeman, or a politician, or a criminal, or a migrant. So the question, you would change your mind, because sometimes our minds are fixed. So for me, art is just this wonderful vehicle where we can explore different perspectives, we can empower ourselves, we can empower others, and we can have a non-violent and a non-threatening discussion. But I guess, is there anything you'd like to add to that, Keisha?
You know, I'm right now just kind of absorbing everything you're saying, because it is about that, right? It is about creating this connection, and yeah.
Well, just to say that if we can have our own daily practice, we can have that creative energy, we can have a creative boost. You know, I encourage you all to try different media, pens, inks, spices, draw daily, find the right time for you to commit to drawing, you know, to doodle, to sketch, use circles, use triangles, use squares, use anything you want. You can take time and you can go outside and you can draw the tree in front of your house, a car in front of your house. In art, we have an opportunity to create a space that is our own space, a private space to explore our feelings and our thoughts without using any words. It's just being present with ourselves. But I also just want to touch on the fact that what happens when we feel disempowered as people. You know, sometimes we don't feel heard. You know, when I was young and I was growing up at my parents' house, you know, lovely, my mum and dad, really nice people. But sometimes, you know, they didn't really validate what my emotions or validate me. They were too busy in living and putting food on our table. But you know, what happens when we don't feel like we're being heard, or we don't feel we're honoring our own personal truth? We can become resentful, we can become detached, we can isolate. So in effect, we can lose our power. How can we restore our power? Well, I'm a firm believer we restore our power through art. You don't need a studio. You don't need to be trained. You don't need expensive tools. In fact, just use what you find around you. I mean, I used potatoes today. You know, you don't need anything splendid. Just your imagination, I would say. I guess in some respects, drawing is a great practice because it can help you check in. But I also wanted to invite you all here today to take part in another circle. So with the wake of the pandemic, I wanted to create a sound circle. So the sound circle, in the UK, we use a glass with a stem. Now you might not have that glass with a stem, and that's okay. When you have a glass with a stem, you go around it and you can make a sound. Now, the thing in the wake of COVID-19, the thing that threatens us basically is touch, isn't it? It's a thing that we used to thrive on, touch and human connection. So now it's just, for me, it's exploring new ways to connect. So I collaborated with a dear friend and colleague of mine, Juliana O'Malley, and she helped me explore the idea of how we can connect in this new space. So I'm just going to find the film that we made together, Julianne and myself, and I'm going to invite you to pause. If you don't have a glass and you can't do this, continue to sketch, breathe, enjoy, explore yourself, explore your space, honor your truth. So with that, and here we go.
Today's journey begins with simple and meaningful acts of connection. Materials you will need: a wine glass and some water. The glass is a vessel, and in some respects, it is just like me and just like you. It can at times be full, or at times be empty. In this year of 2020, humans have hit a wall. The wall is a virus. Not a computer virus, but a human virus. It has forced us all to separate for the sake of protection and safety. In our separation, some have struggled, and some have found new ways to thrive. Today, we will explore a new way to connect. We will explore our senses and our sense of touch. We will use our senses to connect to others through the creation of a sound circle. Today, together, we will be mixing sound. So here we go. Step 1. Start with an empty glass that has a stem. Step 2. Fill the glass with water. You can experiment with different amounts of water because the quantity of water impacts the pitch of sound. We filled it a little more than halfway full. Step 3. Moisten the tip of your finger. Step 4. Hold the base of the glass's stem with one hand so it is nice and stable. And slowly and steadily move your fingertip around the top of the glass. Now this will take a little practice, but persevere and soon you should hear a singing noise, a new sound. This sound is created by a vibration moving through the air and forming a sound wave. The pitch of your sound wave can change according to the water level in your glass. The more water in your glass, the lower the pitch. The less water in your glass, the higher the pitch. You may choose to have your eyes open, or you may choose to have your eyes closed. The choice is yours. In this moment, breathe deeply and let your finger move around the rim of the glass. Now you begin to create your sound circle. This circle connects you to so many others right here, right now. But also in one respect, this is your personal sound circle. Breathe in and reflect. Reflect on someone who cannot be with you physically right now, but someone for whom you care deeply, and someone who makes you smile, someone who brings you simple joy. Imagine that person, whomever it may be. Think of their face. Think of their smile. Think of their touch. Think of how they sound, or even think how they smell. As your fingertip traces the rim of the glass, bring the idea of that person into your circle. Breathe in and breathe out. Continue to create your sound wave and feel the vibration. Try to simply remain relaxed. So now, whilst keeping your finger on your glass, we will shift from an outer focus of touch and sound to an inner focus of sound and feel. Focusing on your breath and your sound wave. Now, simply soften your eyes, Drop your shoulders a little. Loosen your arms and breathe. Take a moment to bring a space and breathe deeply. Breathe in and breathe out. Continue to create your sound wave and feel the vibration. Now, relaxed and fully present, return to the idea of your connection. Imagine that person once again and feel the joy of that person in your heart, in your being. Breathe in and breathe out. Continue to create your sound wave and feel the vibration. Imagine that person, whomever it may be. Think of their face. Think of their smile. Think of their touch. Think of how they sound. Or even think of how they smell. As your finger traces the rim of the glass, bring the idea of that person into your circle. Breathe in and breathe out. Continue to create your sound wave and feel the vibration. With the feeling of joy you have now created via your senses and through your ideas of connection, we will now come back to the space. Gently, we will pause our sound circle until another time. Our sound circle can always be revisited by you alone or you as part of a collective. So now, we shall bring our focus back to our space, back to this moment, the present, and simply rest for a moment before we start another simple practice. A practice to again connect.
Wow.
Hydration station. It's a must. Please, please, please have some water. So let's just take a moment. You may feel a little bit tired, or you may think you feel a little bit tired. It's actually just being relaxed. Taking a moment out of the day to find a space that's safe to just relax amidst our busy days. And I hope everyone enjoyed that experience. I suppose we could do a little check-in again. Maybe anybody in the audience, how are people feeling?
Yes, yes. What is coming alive for you? Because this pause that the film has created for me, for the longest time during the film, I felt empty. And then suddenly I felt full, and it was just comfortable, the emptiness and being full. So Ruth, thank you. I think that was a gift to myself, me being present here. I'm feeling blessed moderating, but just being present. Thank you. And for
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah. Because as we said, the vessel, the glass, it has a low vibration. It has a low pitch when it's full. But when it's not so full, it's a higher pitch. And I think in some levels, when we're full of thoughts and what we need to do and all these responsibilities, which we can't get done in one day anyway. Sometimes I have a list, and the list lasts for 5 years. No, not good. So I try and just say, what do I need to do today? What do I need to do now? Sometimes it's really that simple, because I think we vibrate on a higher level when we're just a little bit lighter and free.
And looking at these beautiful messages, Jinal says positive vibrations, and Bharti says inspiring experience, feeling calm and present, says Lata. Tamanna says fantastic, calm, relaxed.
I'm just wondering,
Yeah, sorry.
I know the benefits of practice, a daily practice, a mindful meditation, kind of a drawing practice. It does improve my sense of well-being. It inspires positivity for me. It gives a rise to my lifelong passion. It really does. And it kind of nurtures my self-discovery. I can bring personal meaning to my life through my practice. In some respects, I can connect like I am now with others. So there's a civic element of engagement. It reduces stress, anxiety, encourages relaxation. But I'm wondering what a daily practice may mean to other people. I practice every day, Keisha. I do yoga every day, and I have a meditation practice, and I have a reflective practice, because that's what a drawing circle gives you, that space to reflect, gives you that space to pause. But what about you? Do you have a daily practice, Keisha?
Yes, the first thing I do in the morning is I have a pause moment. I have slept, but I pause and I smile. I just smile. It's silly, and my daughter and I, we just smile into, and sometimes it turns into laughter, and sometimes it's just joyful pause, smiling. But that's what we do. And then of course I exercise. But my grounding moment is getting up on the, people get off on the right side of the bed. I get off with the right smile on my face.
That's good. That's really good. It's important, isn't it? And especially now, because we're living in a pandemic. So, I just want to encourage people to let go and be present here. Be safe. These times are significant. They're important to us, and it's great to harness and to bring more positivity to our day. And how we do that, through music. I mean, on some level, I loved the practice we did with the colour. I mean, that's a great practice that you could do with people. I mean, you could do it on Zoom, couldn't you? You could think about the colour that you like and you enjoy, and you can play ball with it, because it just lifts. That's what we want. We want to be lifted, don't we? So, yeah.
But I love that question. Can we ask everybody who's watching right now, what is your wellness practice? What do you do every day? Because the time that you put it down on paper, because now it's coming alive. I do dance movement therapy sessions, and for me, that time when I'm in my session is also my well-being time. I host Mind Your Health on YouTube, and each time I meet up with a new teacher, that is my well-being time. So
That's
what is, yeah, Dolly says that she chants every day, and Gina says pranayam and yoga. Mansi says I paint every day and I write down my thoughts.
And the other thing, it's great. What we call this plastic art, and when we say plastic art, it's kind of art where we use our hands. But you may not want it. You may be a computer type person. My son would use a paint project on Word. It's an application. You know, you could have your journal does not necessarily need to be a concrete thing. It could be Instagram. You know, I teach creative practice and portfolio at Liverpool University International College, and my students are the architectural pathway. And I encourage them to have an Instagram account where they put all their creativity. So maybe, you know, if you created anything today, maybe you can post your things on Instagram and hashtag. You know, there's always space, isn't there? I love some of the comments.
Yes. Meditation on light and paint and draw and move to music, says Leena. Suhotra, thank you. Ruchira says drawing mandalas. But we want you to go ahead and if you are comfortable, share it on the Kolkata Shomved page. Take a photograph of the work that you're doing right now, maybe your gratitude journal or the mandalas that you're drawing, the paint that you're working with, even the wellness practice of yoga. If whatever's calling to you, your walk in nature mindfully, take a photograph of a leaf you see, you know, something that's creating your well-being, and share it with us, because we are the sunflowers. We are each other's sunflowers, and we're sharing energy.
Please, Keisha, would you just share the story of the sunflowers? Because I think in this time of COVID, in some respects, we're creating this circle, but it's like a sunflower circle.
Yeah. So the yellow, actually, I was wondering why yellow was my color today, but it is the sunflower story that I'm sure was the cue. And the sunflower is that gorgeous flower in its brilliant yellow color that constantly turns towards the sunlight. And on the days when there's no sun, or it's overcast, or it's a rainy day, you're constantly thinking to yourself, "Ooh, poor sunflower, is it going to wither and die?" But if you go to a field of sunflowers, you'll actually see that they turn towards each other, and they become each other's energy source. They're sharing their energy. And today that's what we're doing. We're turning towards each other and sharing our well-being practices, sharing our life's work as a gift, being present from different parts of the world. And so in gratitude, because so many of us may not have even interacted, but we are getting a chance to meet and connect. And I'm seeing the sunshine and the sunflower in you, Ruth. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Keisha, because we've spent a bit of time. Everybody behind the scenes spends time, comes together, dedicates the time, in the hope that the people who participate really do take something from this practice, because it is a practice. But our takeaway in some respects is that we'd like you to take some of these techniques and share them with other people. You know, there's no safeguarding issue. It's age appropriate, so you can do these things with all ages. You know, you could try the sound circle that will be posted somewhere. I think that will go on YouTube potentially. Maybe it'll be anchored in another space. And you can do that. You can do that practice. But the gratitude journal is a very simple exercise. Potato printing, you know, the rainbow. After the rain comes the rainbow. There's many things, and it is my hope that you will take this and facilitate another little group with other people, and just to bring a bit of joy really to the day,
and be each other's sunflowers. And I'm going to take that back into my life as well. Yeah,
that's just beautiful. It really is. When you said it the first time you said it, it just evoked and really embodied everything, because there were times during this pandemic where I really struggled. There were 2 weeks where, you know, things became really challenging and kind of dark for me. I was isolating. I wasn't going out of the house, you know, because my son has health problems, so he was at risk and vulnerable, and my dad's on oxygen and he's in the at risk. So, you know, I could go to my dad's house. That was the only place I could go, and I could sit in his garden. And not having that capacity or the opportunity to be present with the people who were the fabric of my day-to-day life, it really impacted me. So I really needed to harness, and for me it was colour and creativity. So I have a little allotment, and I'd go to my allotment and I'd spray paint and colour and yoga. I do yoga every day with a lovely young woman called Chelsea. But you know, yourself, Keisha, you may have experienced some challenging times, and it's okay to experience them. As soon as I started to speak with my friends about them, it gave them permission to go, gosh, yes, I've felt really bad as well. I've been really down. I felt, you know, I don't suffer from depression, and I do suffer from anxiety at times. It's just, I think it's nature. Sometimes I do other people's thinking for them, Keisha. I get worried about what's going on. I have this desire to be perfect, you know, and it's ill-founded thoughts. But my friends, my circle, they check me and go, oh gosh, you don't have to be perfect. You're good enough. You're amazing as you are. And then I go, oh gosh, I don't have to be anyone else. I can just be me. But were there challenges for you? How did you cope with the challenges, Keisha?
I think for the first month, I switched off from the outside world, and I kind of checked in. And in 1 month from the lockdown in India, I started Mind Your Health, because I realized that it is mind over matter. And if I'm looking after my own mind and checking my own thoughts, and if I can put a couple of positive thoughts out there into the world, I'm going to be empowering everybody else, but empowering me. So uh, and it was beautiful, because the connections that this world is opening up for everyone. Everybody wants to support, and the hugs may not be real, but the circles of these hugs are virtual, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah, me too. I'm really feeling that. And it's so empowering that you chose to embark on Mind Your Health. So the opportunities, and in the film it says some people struggle, some people thrive. But my friend, she's a feminist and a great academic, and she used to always say, chaos, crisis, creativity. And I just love that, because and isn't it, you know, the moment before the dawn is the darkest, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, and I just hope that in some respects, the practice that we have today is bringing, you know, a new dawn, a new practice, something that you can put in your little toolkit, something you can put in your bag, you know, the takeaway. I think Malik is going to put on a PDF of the PowerPoint I presented, with some ideas, some notions, some things you can practice. And our circle.
Yeah, so Ruth, but you know, if I could ask you, because you spoke about well-being kit right now and your toolkit, what are the takeaways from this session that we can put into our well-being kit?
Well, I think the most important thing is freedom of expression. I think we really need to take that moment to express ourselves. You know, I have masses of responsibilities. I'm a mum, a girlfriend, a friend, a daughter. You know, I manage my dad's healthcare, I manage my son's healthcare, and I'm doing lots of things. And sometimes I don't express myself, I stifle myself. So really, this is to encourage you to take that time to express yourself. I'd say, you know, you have a how-to on some creative practices, how to do your well-being card, how to do a gratitude journal. And I can't emphasize enough in terms of neuroscience, we have something called euphoric recall. So, you know, when we dance and we have that great feeling, and then we dance again somewhere else and we have that great feeling, we kind of create pathways in our mind. And the idea of the gratitude journal is a space to acknowledge the things that make us happy. So if you're having a bad day, you can go to your gratitude journal, you know, and you can just take things out of it. You can put photographs in it, you can do whatever you want. You can beautify it, you can make it pretty, you can use words, you could use Rumi, you could use Tagore, you know, you could use whatever you want. I mean, when I was debating today whether to play a little bit of Beyonce, Lemonade,
Yeah.
because I do like Beyonce. You know, it's great to have that. So when you're doing your gratitude journal, you may want some simple music, or you may want to play, I don't know, you may want to play Ravi Shankar.
Something that calls to us, yes.
Something that calls.
Yeah. So freedom of expression, for sure. The gratitude journal. And I remember you saying, along the way and all these conversations and interactions that you are enough. Each one of us is enough.
Absolutely, absolutely. I said there was one wonderful thing in all of this, and that is you. Undeniably, you are enough. We are enough. Please, you know, as I said earlier, I'd like you today to be kind to someone. The person I'd really like you to be kind to is yourself. You know, quite often we wouldn't talk to somebody we don't like the way we talk to ourselves. So we want to escape from that negative self-talk. We want to replace that. It is a spiritual practice. You know, I'm a creative practitioner. I'm an artist, educator. I like to express myself, but I am on a spiritual journey. I don't follow a religion. They say religion is for those who are frightened of hell. Spirituality is for those who've already been there. So I'm definitely on a spiritual journey. And you're my support circle. You know, all those wonderful women are my support circle. We've overcome many, many things. And we'd just like you to honor yourself, be true to yourself, and be kind to yourself.
This is beautiful. Honor yourself, be true to yourself, and be kind to yourself. Remember your gratitude journal that you definitely invest in and immerse yourself in, and it's going to be a part of you. And you are enough. And freedom of expression. I'm kind of sipping in each takeaway, and the resource list that Ruth, you shared, will be put into the chat right now. And to everybody who signed up over here for the session online, remember you're going to get it across to you as well. And for everybody who's connected with us on the Facebook page, it will be in the comment section. So access these resources which Ruth with love has sent across to you. Remember, the feedback form is going to be put right now in the comments, in the chat box. We want you to go ahead and fill that in, because your feedback, what you have to say, is your truth, and you expressing what you really felt means the world. Thank you so much. We also, as you're filling in the feedback form, remember to fill it in completely and send it across. Also, if you haven't given us your email address for the resource list, please add that right now as well in the chat, so that we send you the resource list. It's going to be empowering. You can go to it whenever you want, over the next week, over the next month, over the next year. It's going to be your own treasure box. It's going to be your treasure email. Open it up when you feel you want it, or open it up when you want to pass it on as a gift to somebody, let's say. And we want to say thank you, a gratitude note to the entire team. Feel, the Festival for Empowerment and Art for Life, brought to you by British Council and Kolkata Shomved. Thank you for envisioning this and creating this. So everybody at home, put your hands together for all the members of British Council and Kolkata Shomved. I'm going to pause there so you can put your hands together. And I'm continuing as we say thank you to John Kennedy, Paramita Chaudhary, Shanali Ganguly, Manish Gupta, and Radhika Singh from British Council, and Namrata Kanuga from Kolkata Shomved. Mallikarjun Roy for hosting the festival and making sure that all the technical details are taken care of. Adhiraj Mukherjee and the HIP element for designing all the communication material. A bunch of volunteers who are supporting this event truly successfully. Thank you so much. Love to you all. Shubham Srivastav, Krishnendu BS, Shruti Iyer, Paulomi Robin, and Gayatri Joshi, and each and every one of you who joins us from home. Remember, you are the reason that Feel has been put together. And when I'm saying you, I mean me as well. I'm a part of you, and so is Ruth. And we thank you for your presence here. Remember, tomorrow, the 22nd at 4:30, we look forward to you joining us, because that is when the sound bath with Sally Davies, who's a sound therapy healer and practitioner, is going to happen. It's going to be immersive, it's going to be powerful, and it's going to create that pause that we so greatly want and deserve. So join us tomorrow at 4:30 right here on this online Zoom space, or on the Kolkata Shomved Facebook page. Ruth, as we move towards the close, I know that you've added color to our life. You've added a gratitude journal.
Citrix workspace update or app needs your
Sorry.
Yes. So Do we have a checking out? Because I know you got us checking in.
Yeah, I think all we do to check out is we'll do that exercise again where we will breathe in colour, and we'll just rest and anchor ourselves and just close this space. So we're going to check out of the space and we can go about our day and bring that colour into our day, be kind to ourselves. So now let's just drop our shoulders, feet firmly on the ground, and then we'll just breathe in. And the colour you chose, let's bring that colour right the way up through our heads, down our spine, into our bellies, into our fingertips and our toes. And breathe in, the tip of our nose, feeling the breath. And breathe out. Maintain that sense of well-being, sense of liberation, and breathe in and breathe out.
Thank you so much, Ruth.
It's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
At the halfway mark, actually, of the Feel Festival, where we've completed 3 webinars and we've got 3 to go. Remember, we look forward to you joining us tomorrow. Drink a lot of water, experience a lot of color. Start the work on your gratitude journal and never ever stop it. Let it be a part of your life's journey. Lots of things to be grateful for. And for your presence here today. We're going to continue the circle. So let's give each other a huge virtual hug, a circle hug, yes, to yourself and to everybody out there. This has been amazing. And our closing ritual, well done on our time, well invested. We take back great investment and great return. Ruth, thank you for your time here. Everybody at home, thank you for joining Ruth Dillon, who passed on visual art therapy into our lives. And I'm RJ Keisha. I'm feeling privileged and blessed to moderate this time. We're going to see you tomorrow at 4:30. Till then, we say together, well done. Shabash. Shabash. Well done. We've done it. I'm going to see you tomorrow at 4:30.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you so much, Keisha.